Okay, we're going to talk Paralympics now, and Dame Sarah Storey claimed her 19th gold, 30th medal in total by winning a thrilling women's cycling road race in Paris. Our reporter Miriam Walker-Khan is with her now.
Yeah, that first gold medal of those 19s was won 32 years ago today in Barcelona. Now it's 19. Dame Sarah Storey, huge congratulations. Do they feel different, the 18th and the 19th?
These are heavier. The medals have definitely got bigger over the years. We've supersized the medals, but no, it's still just as exciting. It still means just as much. I guess it's the benefit of experience allowed me to win these, whereas it was the abundance of youthful, exuberance that won me those medals back in Barcelona. And that very first one, 32 years ago today, I beat someone who'd never been beaten. And yesterday I was trying to stay ahead of someone who wanted to beat the person who'd never been beaten. So yeah, it's very special.
That was a really tight race, and a French athlete as well, someone who's 27 years younger than you and has that youth. Sorry, Ed.
That's okay.
What does it feel like when you are able to do that still after so many years?
Oh, it feels so good, and I think it's that benefit of experience. I obviously remember very clearly, I was 19 when we came home, just after we came home from the Games in Atlanta. I'd had 5 gold medals by that point, and I'd been the person chasing the people who are like me now. So drawing on that experience, drawing on what I know to be the case in a final like that, the final K&a-half, she went early, I knew she would, but I also knew that if I poured on my power gradually and eventually emptied the tank, I had this many matches to burn, so did she, and so I just knew that if I could just draw in gradually to that final corner, then I would be able to outsprint her.
When you reflect on 30 medals, how does that sound and how does that feel?
Well, it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But I think every single medal has a story behind it. The 3 bronze medals, all in the same event, the 100-metre freestyle. I've been watching the swimming this week. I wouldn't even make finals now. The sport has just gone above and beyond anything any level that I took it to. It's just immense, and I think it represents a life's work. I've been doing this for 32 years to the day in terms of winning the Paralympic medals, and yeah, I'm just so proud.
We are running out of words to describe these achievements. We really are. I think I did use the word ridiculous yesterday. But people who probably aren't as used to watching you, but much more excited, are Charlie and Louisa, your kids. And this was a really special Games because they were here after not being able, obviously, to go to Tokyo. What was that like for you to see them there as well?
Oh, having Louisa and Charlie with the rest of my family, some friends, neighbours, my coach as well. It was just brilliant, and they were right there front and centre. And the good thing is that although Louisa has been to a Games in Rio, she doesn't really think she remembers it for being there because she's looked at so many photographs. So she said to me before the time trial, I'm so excited because I'm going to remember this Games. And Charlie's 6. I was 6 when I watched my first Games on the television in Los Angeles in 1984, and that's what sparked my wanting to be a British athlete. So both of them are going to remember being here, the people that were with them, the way Mum raced, the podium, the singing the national anthem. And I've not really seen them. I've only seen them for 15 minutes since yesterday because of the processes that you have to go through as an athlete to get through the media and anti-doping, and obviously to the podium and then back to the village. So I can't wait to see them next week when I get home.
And speaking of Los Angeles, there's a big event there in 4 years' time. We know you've not ruled it out, but just talk us through, because we spoke to you last year about what it's like to be a mum and an elite athlete. Talk us through what goes into that process of deciding and how much input your kids have, because they do, don't they?
Yeah, Louise and Charlie have always had input. They had input into the decision to go to Tokyo and how many events I did, because there was a choice there about doing just the road as I have done here in Paris, and they wanted me to do track and road in Tokyo. For Los Angeles, the next 4 years, obviously a longer cycle, we look at where the World Championships are, what the pieces of the jigsaw will need to look like, what sort of training I'll need to do, how I'll contend with the challenges of a female athlete in her late 40s, and I'll be 50 by those Games. So there's lots of consideration, and also what they want to do, what their extracurricular activities are at school, how old they'll be in 4 years' time, and where they're competing, because both Louisa and Charlie compete. Louisa in dance, in cricket, in cycling, in swimming, and all the school teams. Charlie enjoys his BMX. He also loves cricket and playing football. So they've got hopes and dreams as well. So we'll put it all together, look at what it looks like, and then at the end of the year make a plan of how we're going to attack next year as the first year of another cycle.
Do you think this will have made them more excited to watch you again, though?
Absolutely, and in a couple of weeks' time is the Road World Championships in Zurich, so hopefully yesterday's race put my name on that team sheet and will be announced soon, and we'll be able to go out to Zurich and try and defend the World Championships from last year. But yeah, they've absolutely loved it, so I'm excited to hear their perspective when I get back home.
You're someone who always uses your platform as well to help push the sport forward and the movement forward. Just tell us about what you spoke about after that race on Monday and the distance being half of the men's distance for that time trial. Why did you feel like you needed to speak about that?
Well, I was asked what I thought of the race course, and I said, well, the course was great, but the distance was disappointing. You know, we've worked so hard to put female athletes on the same page. You know, women weren't even allowed at the Olympic Games initially. You know, the Paralympic Games is a very new movement in comparison to the Olympic movement, and female sport has always felt like it's been played second fiddle in some places. And so we need to make sure that we have parity between male and female athletes in the same category. So yes, there were male athletes who were doing that one lap distance, but they were in lower division categories, higher disabled categories than the female athletes who did the same distance. So where you have the C45 men, as you had the tandem men and women doing the same, the C45 women should have been doing the same as the men, and then you just make it match. And it has to be said when it's said, because we need to make sure that young female athletes always get to see themselves on the same page. If you had twins, boy and girl, you'd want them to have the same opportunities. And now I have a boy and a girl, I want them both to have the same opportunities for their future, whether that's sport or anything else.
And you said that you and other athletes tried to reach out to organisers before these games. Have they got back to you since you spoke about it on Monday?
There hasn't been time. Yeah, they're running multiple races every day now, and the decision of the final, choices were made, weeks, months ago, I think. So for me, it's just about making sure that I've said, and I've been acknowledged, I know that I have, it wasn't possible for whatever their reasons were, but let's make sure that when we're planning in the future that we look at that as one of the first things and one of the first considerations, and then maybe look at the minimum distances as well, because that time trial met the requirements of a minimum distance, but maybe our minimum distances are a bit too short now for the way that the athletes are capable, because we've moved on so far since that minimum distance was set.
What are you doing for the last few days in Paris? How excited are you for are you going to Disneyland with the kids?
The kids have been to Disneyland. I've not got the chance to, unfortunately, so maybe we'll come out on the train another time and they can show me around. I have some time at the stadium later on today, and then hoping to maybe get out to the canoeing or something, whatever events are left tomorrow before the closing ceremony. So yeah, just a little bit of downtime before we head back home on Monday.
And just sum up how these games have been for you and for the whole team, because every Paralympic Games feels so different. This feels like it's got that buzz that London had. Does it feel like a bit of a home games for you as well?
A little bit, but I'm very delighted to have experienced somebody else's home games. The support for Heidi around the course yesterday was just immense. And I think, being in the village again, being able to rub shoulders with other sports, other athletes, other nations, seeing that colour when all the flags are hung up and everyone's kind of supporting their teammates, that's been fantastic. And it's been wonderful to see just how many people have made the effort to come out. People I wasn't expecting have made last minute trips, and I had friends and neighbours and people I've worked with, former teammates are out here. My coach made it this time because he coaches remotely. So yeah, it's been amazing to see just how many people have thought, actually, a couple of days in Paris, we can do that. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
Well, it's been fantastic as well to report on this and to watch you this past week. Thank you so much, Dame Sarah Storey. Go and see Charlie and Louise. I don't want to hold you back. There we go. Dame Sarah Storey, her 19th gold medal, and today it's 32 days till the day since she got that first gold in Barcelona.